The Competition Commission has conducted a search and seizure operation at the premises of 9 fresh produce market agents. The 9 suspected agents act as intermediaries between farmers and fresh produce customers. The agents are suspected of being involved in cartel and price-fixing conduct in contravention of the Competition Act. It is alleged that the agents are involved in the prohibition-coordinated activities aimed at undercutting the prices charged by smaller intermediaries by the charging way below the market price for certain agreed periods of a trading day. It is further alleged that the suspected agents keep their prices unsustainably low during these periods and quickly increase prices significantly as soon as the smaller agents have run out of stock. Well, joining us this afternoon to discuss this further is ANN7's business editor, Mr. Clive Ramatabela-Smith. Good afternoon to you, Clive. First it was the banks, and then there was allegations of collusion in the edible oil sector, now the fresh produce sector. Just talk us through where all of this stems from.
I'll tell you this, one can say that it never rains but it pours. It's evident that the Competition Commission is really dedicated and focused on removing these cartels from being in business. And one of the recent ones that we've seen, obviously, is within the banking sector itself, and how they found themselves to be finding. But here's a case now where now they've taken action following a report that was taken up by the Johannesburg City Centre, or rather the city of Johannesburg. And what the COJ has said is that they've suspected that after their own internal investigations, that there were these cartels, these agents who were participating in price-fixing, fraudulent activity, including colluding in when it comes to the prices of and the movement of foods and fresh fruits for that matter in the market. So we did not expect that the raid would happen today, but here it is. It's taken place. But what's interesting about it is, if you look at the background, for example, that the report was already there. They were already had enough evidence for them to take up this action. So what I suspect is what will happen is the result of this particular raid will lead, therefore, now to a more sustainable and more determined report that will be taken back to the commission, and it might be moving then to the tribunal.
But Clive, what exactly is at stake here for these individuals or these agents? What are the repercussions? Is it once again that 10% slap on the wrist?
Just remember that the policy had changed slightly. The law has changed since April of last year, which was passed in Parliament, that this kind of activity can lead to some sort of jail time or hefty fines. So it depends on to what extent that the Competition Commission will find these allegations to be true, and also whether or not they find evidence that will be able to lead to prosecution.
And what sort of information or evidence would they be looking for during these raids?
It would be very impossible if you and I were sitting in a market that the goods that we source, we would sell at the same price. Your cost of production cannot be the same as mine. Your servicing production cannot be the same as mine as well, including the transactional activities cannot be the same. So what is seemingly suspected is the fact that these guys seem to have created a web, what I would call a matrix of a system of working things to their favor. So, for example, when it suits them at particular market periods, they're able to lower their prices of goods so that they attract more volumes or more entrance of people to their stores. And also that, because remember, they're not selling just to the general public. They're selling to other smaller agents who then sell to the bigger market in bulk format. So what they do is they control the prices of foods, fresh foods for that matter, so that they create a bit more volume, and at a certain point they increase it. But now, if you know the status of the market, you'll know that they've got different tent styles where they sell their food and goods. So if you go and find that in this one, you find that a bunch of carrots or vegetables or whatever vegetable you want to purchase is the same price and it's consistent throughout, that means evidently there's collusion, because there cannot be that these guys are all working from the same level plate. So that is the concern that the Commission had been investigating, and it was confirmed by the COJ that there is some activity that's taking place there. To some extent, they even include facts like the weighting of the goods that they sell, that's also being trickled with. So that, for me, is a serious problem, and I think it's just a tip of the iceberg, as the Commission says.
And Clive, you know, the knock-on effects and the effect that this has on South Africans, specifically the pocket of South Africa's most poor, is devastating.
Yeah. And that is the sad part, unfortunately, that the people that get hurt the most here is you and I, the consumer. And perhaps maybe if you are living a certain level of life, maybe you don't pick up the cost. But if you've been to these markets, and I'm being very honest, you'll see people travel far and wide to go and purchase these goods. And some of them coming from outside of the province, from Limpopo, the northwest, bringing in with their trucks and vans and all that to come and buy so that they can take back home and sell in their local markets. Now, if you're fixing prices, you're making it hard for these people to make a living, because that kind of selling, that kind of trade is actually how they make their income so that they can feed their families. So if there's a cartel that is controlling prices, that is infringing with the activities of access to food, and particularly fresh foods, and these are basics, you know, we're talking fresh food, we're talking about fruits and vegetables, and if you're making that a price, a price, if you fix that price, you fundamentally change their lifestyle, the way they run their businesses, and to some extent the way that they'll be able to feed their families as well.
Definitely. Clive, unfortunately we have to leave it there, but thank you very much for unpacking those details for us. ANN7's business editor Clive Ramatabela-Smith just talking to us about the Competition Commission conducting a search and seizure operation at the premises of 9 fresh produce market agents. Stay tuned to ANN7